Scary moment involving Stefon Diggs, decisions to make at the wide receiver position, and it's inevitable. Texans are eventually going to have to put up with drama. How the heck are they going to handle that? Let's dive into it in another late night stream of The Locker Room.
Yeah. Yeah. It's The Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop.
All right, we got Bobby Slowick speaking. We got a scary moment involving Stefon Diggs, and we're nearly 10.4K deep. It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can see me right here nightly at 10:30 throughout the day, usually after practice at 1, and videos throughout the day, including 9 o'clock tomorrow, little podium critic session with the great Bobby Slowick, who you better not ask him the same question twice. You get caught slipping, Bobby's going to call you out. Now, he might answer the question, but if you ask him twice, he's going to let you know that he already answered the question. We'll also hear from Dameon Pierce. We'll hear from you. Super chats go to the front, and we'll just get into it. And we'll start with a scary moment today. Stefon Diggs left practice briefly. Another collision, whatever you want to call it, with Jimmy Ward. Looked like perhaps ribs, not sure. But Diggs went to the side for a little bit. He was right back on the field. We also had a little Tytus Howard Cartgate. So this all started with Jonathan Alexander of the Houston Chronicle. He saw Tytus Howard go to the medical tent. It was the second time that Tytus Howard has gone to the medical tent during camp. You had Jonathan Alexander simply say, Tytus Howard has left in a cart. Tytus Howard, here it is right here. Here's Jonathan Alexander's tweet right here. He said, Tytus Howard has been driven off the field in a golf cart after spending time in the blue medical tent. Now, he said that harmlessly enough. Tytus Howard, very shortly after that, Tytus is quick to get to the Twitter on postgame. Tytus Howard put this up. He said, dang, I thought I walked off the field. Apparently, he walked off the field to the tent, and then afterwards, he took the cart to the locker room, not this locker room, the other locker room after practice. So maybe there's a little bit of semantics there, but that was kind of the disagreement between Jonathan Alexander and Tytus Howard was that, hey, we had Tytus Howard leave in a cart. Not really. Oh, maybe he did. Who knows? So that's where they were at with that. Just a little bit of drama. Nothing to see here. I am kind of a little bit. I'll just confess and I'll just be honest with you.
Watch this. These are my confessions.
I mean, I get a little bit concerned when I see Tytus Howard go into the medical tent twice. It's encouraging that he's hanging in there. But, I mean, a guy who has not been able to stay on the field and is coming off a year where he was hurt last year, yeah, I get a little bit concerned. Tytus Howard's gone to the tent twice. I don't just completely minimize that. Do you? I mean, I don't. Primetime V, little late night stream dinner. Man, you're eating dinner late, brother. 10:35. What are you grubbing on at 10:35? That's drive-through stuff right there, my friend. Are you on that
high-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets? Did you know what that was?
Now I do.
Me neither.
Are you on that or not? Who knows? Not everybody has to eat at 10:30 to be on that. Yeah, Tytus loves social media. He's the nicest guy in the world, though, man. Like he's so likable. He goes on social media though. And I think a lot of times it's just the approval, the guaranteed approval, right? Like Tytus Howard could say, whatever. And when you're a Texans player, you're going to get some type of approval. So maybe there's that. Who knows? BH didn't think we were going to be expecting Blake Fisher to play left tackle and right tackle at the same time. I'll tell you what, Blake Fisher is an interesting guy. And sometimes you have to be in the moment and you have to see how you react before you realize how much you value someone. And this early in the process, we're what, 13 days into camp. I think we got like a week and change left of training camp, and then the real practices begin. By the way, I'll be on the scene at all the practices. I'll still have your practice reports throughout the season on the stream, as well as the night stream. Got some other stuff cooking up too. So it's going to be fun. But this early in the process, I think it's crazy because if you would have told me that Blake Fisher was going to miss practice or leave practice early, and he ended up coming back today, and I would have been like, damn, man, hopefully he's okay. Dang, they can't afford to lose Blake Fisher. I probably would have rolled my eyes. Quite frankly, when they drafted Blake Fisher, I didn't know for sure that he was going to be the swing tackle over like Charlie Heck, who they seem to like, but he's dealing with some stuff of his own. But he's been the starting left tackle with Tunsil out. You got to anticipate that if Tunsil's in and Howard's out, he's going to be on the right side. When I heard that Blake Fisher left the field, I was like, damn, they can't afford to do that. They can't afford to have that. Yeah, we going pizza. Okay. I see you. You probably get just a cheese pizza, man. That's probably you. Primetime's probably just getting straight cheese pizza for sure. Shout out to Patty. Patty, I saw something you said on the last video. You accused me of potentially becoming something I do not want to become, a spammer and someone who's covering this team out of town. That shame on you for that, Patty. We got the normals. In and out mobile services. Fred, what's up, man? I'll be there on the 11th. Okay, I'll see you there, my friend. The 11th. Actually, I'll be out of town. The 11th. I will still be streaming. We'll still have the night stream going. We'll still have the daily videos. But yeah, I'm out of town. Got an interesting opportunity to host for a week at one of the top stations in the country. I'm not leaving Houston anytime soon, but it's the 4-time station of the year. It's up 45, but it's a privilege. And quite frankly, it's something that I'd go on vacation and get to host from 10 to 1 on one of the best stations in the country. I'm looking forward to that. Howard the Duck seems like he's always injured. So we're going to call him Howard the Duck now. That's not nice, my friend. That's not nice, my friend. But the 11th is going to be a fun practice. It'll be interesting. Pepperoni. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you go pepperoni. Is there anything worse than when you go to a pizza party and someone is like, hey, let's get 2 cheese pizzas? Man, we don't need no cheese pizza. Pick it off. For sure. It's Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket, up there in DFW. They don't really talk as much sports. It's going to be a lot of BSing, for sure. But I'm just basically riding along. I'm sure they'll give me crap about Houston, but I'm H-Town, no matter what. Lived everywhere in Houston, so that's where we'll go. But yeah, it's just a fun week. It's just an honor and a privilege to be able to do it. So we'll see how that goes. Cold cheese pizza kind of go hard when you're lit enough, though. Nah, man. I mean, you can be lit and enjoy anything. Cheese pizza's for the kids. There's no doubt about that. The Ticket, Jacob. The Ticket, for sure. Landry show with all the captions. You almost gave me a heart attack. What caption? What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. Captions. Not sure what that even means. Let's hear from Bobby Slowick. Bobby Slowick was funny today. We'll do the Bobby Slowick podium critic review tomorrow. He's starting to sound more and more like a head coach. He's sounding insightful. I thought he said something really cool that they basically try to make it hard on CJ in camp. And then that way it gets easier during the game, which kind of explains it. You're going against the defense and you're basically going against your OC. So when we watch what is expected to be a really, really good offense, when we watch it struggle, a lot of times we simplify it and we say, well, the defense always gets the best of the offense this time of the year. Well, Yeah, and maybe there's even more behind it. And I thought that was really good insight from Bobby Slowick. This wide receiver group, though, I want to focus on this wide receiver group for a second. We know that Stefon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, we know they're going to ball. We know they're going to do their thing. We know Noah Brown's going to be on the team. We don't know what's going to happen after that. Now, Bobby Slowick, you're going to see it. He'd already answered a question about the wide receiver group. He was asked it again. Bobby Slowick had to make it clear. I've already answered that, but I'll do it again. Here's Bobby Slowick.
Yeah, I just answered this one also, but it's kind of it's a cool room. There's a lot going on. Obviously, as far as players we have there that can go perform, and a lot of them right now are doing that, getting better every day, showing their best selves. And it's our job when we get in season and when we get into preseason games to really make sure we're putting guys in position to go show that to everyone else. But we really know what each individual is really good at. And we need to keep stacking where we need improvement for each of those guys, and it's been fun to see so far.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yep, thanks.
All right, there you go. Shout out to Bobby Slowick. My goodness, I don't know. Like he said, we're looking at what each individual is good at, and we're looking at improvement. I do wonder. I wish I could be. And if the Texans were the Giants, and let's say they were Hard Knocks. Let's say the Texans had a little Hard Knocks action going on, and they were basically showing every damn thing that they're talking about, which, by the way, I like me some Hard Knocks. And I do on one side understand, hey, this is scripted. This is fake. J.J. Watt's sitting there at 3 a.m. flipping tires, and there's people waiting to get his autograph, and he's singing Fort Minor, and he's got product placement with Gatorade. Like, this doesn't feel authentic. I get that. But damn, Giants, how much are y'all going to put out there? I mean, they've put every damn thing out there, the Giants. And I would love to see what the Texans would say about these wide receivers, like if they're having this conversation. I mean, set the top three aside. Noah Brown, I'm sure they're saying, well, Noah, he was really big for us. We believe in Noah. Noah and CJ have great chemistry, so Noah's safe. Robert Woods is apparently looking pretty good lately. Robert Woods had his second straight really, really good practice. Robert Woods. So I think that's really what's going to be the thing that impacts John Mechie the most if Robert Woods is on this team. Because you're talking about guys that are going to be asked to do similar things. Quite frankly, Robert Woods probably does a little bit better job in games and being reliable than John Mechie. We're looking at Skoranek and we're looking at Hutchinson, and understandably so, but both of those guys play special teams. So they're going to have something on John Mechie, which is, hey, if they're not contributing on offense, then they can contribute in another way. Robert Woods is not going to play special teams, although he is a pretty reliable catcher of a punt. Like every once in a while, they'll put him back there if they want to be safe and just have him catch the punt. So I don't think I'm completely dismissing Robert Woods. I don't think it's too late for him to be putting practices together. I don't think they need to see from Robert Woods much in practice or in games. They know what they're going to get with Robert Woods. Might not be what it once was, but they know what they're going to get. So I wonder if Robert Woods is on this team, what does that mean for Mechie? I think that's where we need to look. We're looking on the back end. We need to look at that. I think this is a big week for John Mechie. I think this is the biggest week for John Mechie, because you're probably going to get to go out there with the starters, and I think you need to keep him in a little bit longer. The Skoranek situation is going to be different. How does Xavier Hutchinson follow up what he did last week? I mean, if Xavier Hutchinson goes out there and continues to do what he did, he's going to make it difficult, which is interesting because I had his ass cut before he started going off. I didn't think there was any possibility that John Mechie's not on this team. I no longer feel that way. I think it's possible. I think it's very, very, very possible. They practice tomorrow, and then they get on a plane and they go to Pittsburgh. And the next practice here, that's going to be on Sunday the 11th. That's when they're going to have the next practice here. Yes, Joe Mixon will be ready for week 1. I feel very confident in saying that. I think Joe Mixon's ready to play right now. Slowick also mentioned how Joe Mixon, and I provided this observation a couple of times in the practice reports. He's a very active participant, not being on the field. I mean, he is a leader. He's in the huddle. Whenever someone makes a play, whether it's Nico or Tank or Hutchinson or even Johnny Johnson, like he's over there slapping him on the helmet. I mean, there's a reason that he was a captain in Cincinnati. Joe Mixon's a damn leader. I mean, he is very, very engaged in practice. He ain't just sitting on the side with his arms crossed chilling. He is very, very active on this team. And I thought it was interesting the Joe Mixon human element and kind of the transformation from I think we've seen him at the podium 3 times now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's 3 times. The first week that they put him up there with Hunter, I almost felt sorry for him because that Monday or Tuesday, Cincinnati signs Moss from the Colts. Then they we're going to release Joe Mixon. They end up trading him to the Texans. And then he has to go do a press conference. And you just tell he's kind of exhausted. Like he's somewhat excited, but he's kind of exhausted. I mean, the team that he'd been with for nearly 10 years that, he just knocked on the door, was this close to winning a Super Bowl, was this close to going back to another Super Bowl. All of a sudden, he's looking for another squad, and he ends up all the way in Houston, Texas. You could see, though, as time went on, he got more and more comfortable, and now he just seems like one of the alphas, one of the leaders of this squad, at least just during practice. I'm not talking about going in. I don't know how that goes. Seems to be that way. But Joe Mixon, I thought it was wild, just the human element and the process that he went through week 1. Yeah, this is a big week for Mitch. Shout out to HF. This is a big week for Mitch. I think it's a big camp. I think he's got to play his way onto the team. I think. I don't know. I think. That's just where I'm at with these receivers. The Woods, I don't think Woods is just going to go away. And I don't think there's like some sort of gap. I just think we see Joe, whenever Mechie does anything, it gets glorified. Whenever Woods does something, it's just kind of like a little footnote. You're not whipping out the camera. I'm guilty of this. I'm not whipping out the camera and taking a picture of Robert Woods doing work. It's Diggs. It's Nico. It's Tank. And then check out Mechie. Let's see what he's doing. Robert Woods, go get me a Gatorade or something. Maybe go watch the defense. Old Faithful. Old Faithful isn't as exciting. Doesn't move the needle as much at all. I don't think Mechie sneaks through to the practice squad. I don't think that happens. I think someone would perhaps take a look at him. And look, if this were 2021 or if this were 2022, like this would be a great opportunity for John Mechie. Like at this point, let's put him out there and let's see what happens. I mean, hell, they signed Anthony Miller. They had Chris Moore out there making plays. Remember how terrible that was? Chris Moore was like arguably one of your best receivers. It sucked. That would have been perfect for John Mechie. It's just that there's too much going on. This is not a process over results scenario, which it was in that situation. This is results. Process still goes, but you don't take a step back and try to figure it out. Got to figure it out. So that's something that they're going to have to do. If Stroud wants Mechie, then, I mean, maybe they factor that in. I know they're really close. I think C.J. Stroud understands the business, though. C.J. Stroud loves Robert Woods. Robert Woods last year, you go back and watch the Baltimore game, I thought it was pretty interesting. I actually asked Robert Woods about this last year. I mean, he was lining guys up. including CJ. Like CJ was looking to Woods to figure out what to do. And that's understandable. That's not a knock on him. It's his first time doing it. And Robert Woods has been running the system for God knows how long. But yeah, they like Robert Woods too. But yeah, I don't know if that, like CJ Stroud is, I mean, he's understands how football works and stuff. I mean, I don't know. Like if he wants Mechie, I have no idea. ELUV, hate to say it, but Mechie hasn't shown anything in games. He's the odd man out for me, but things can change. Who knows? Yeah, that's why it's an opportunity. I agree. D'Amico said the same thing. Got to see it in games. No doubt. Do you agree that Hutch is looking like wide receiver 5 right now? I think Woods is looking like wide receiver 5 right now. And then Hutch is probably wide receiver 6 or Skoranek. I mean, it's there's a lot of stuff going on here for sure. My old ass finally catching a late night locker room. Welcome. We have the early ones too, as well. Practice reports, 1:00. Tomorrow, I'm going to do the live at 1. So we have the Bobby Slowick video dropping at 9. 1:00, we're going to have the live stream post-practice. Toughest decisions that the coaching staff has to make and some other things. Then I'm going to record something with someone that played for the Texans that was at Andre's Hall of Fame thing that still has a pretty good grasp of things. I'm going to have him sell me on this O-line. You won't want to miss that. And Thursday, I think John McClain's going to join me. Uncensored John McClain, which I always enjoy. And then Friday, now this guy never does interviews. I think he's the best Houston media type of all time. That's all I'll say. He's always been a hard ass when he was in media, but he seems to be thriving right now. I don't think I've ever seen him do an interview. So I'm really intrigued by this. He sucks at technology though. But the media goat gonna join me on Friday most likely. We're gonna lay something down, and then I'll do the post game though. But he's not gonna join me on post game. But we'll figure that out. The number 1 wide receiver for me, my fantasy draft is actually this Saturday. That's why I'm going up 45. I've had the same league for 13 years. Stefon Diggs is who I would take first. I would probably do so in the second round. Late second round. I don't know if I could do it in the early second round, but late second, early third, I would go with Diggs. Although Nico, I think, is going before, but my personal, with what I've watched and with what I've seen, I'm going with Diggs. If I had to pick one, who knows? Maybe Tank or Nico end up being number 1. There's good value. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm not one of those people who says do this and I'm not doing it. I'm just telling you that's exactly what I'm doing. For sure. Yeah, Bobby Slowick's great. Very, very good. For sure at what he does. No doubt about it. Straight up beast. Ring of Honor Media. Yes, it is. John McClain. There's 2 guys on the wall at NRG. John McClain's going to join me Thursday, and then the other one on Friday. The other crazy SOB. How does that make you feel? Subscribe, like, ride along. Be sure to like. Shout out to all the like reminders in this mofo. I appreciate y'all. Favorite DFW food spot. And we're bringing up DFW. It's all love around here. We love all the states. What kind of grub do you want? It just depends. Depends what kind of grub you want. There's a little something of everything. If you want chicken, Rudy's Chicken. It's in the hood though. Lancaster. Cash only. Obviously, if you want pizza, I like to go to there's some different pizza spots for me. Carne Rosa is the most popular. But for me, I like if I'm going to grub there, I like Mi Casina. They just got one in Houston. I'm a big Mi Casina guy. I just tend to mix it up there. A lot of hole in the wall Mexican spots. It's got to figure it out. You can't go wrong with Babe's Chicken. Babe's Chicken out there in Roanoke and Fort Worth. Can't go wrong with Joe T. Garcia's in Fort Worth, only 2 menu items. You got that. So yeah, plenty of spots to grab at. If you like subs, there's a place called New York Subs. Peep that scene. And after you eat that, go down to JD Chippery. So there you go. Am I ever bringing Figgy on? I don't know. I mean, I haven't like planned on it. I'm not like posed. I don't know. Does Figgy want to talk ball? Not sure. I never knew that was like his thing. Am I doing a game podcast? I don't know. Like the live stream during the game is kind of hit or miss. I think some people do it just for like low hanging fruit. The problem is you can't stream the game. So, and you can't, and you're not paying as much of attention. We were thinking about doing like a trial of it. I just don't know if it's worth it or not. Not really sure. Landry on that high grade Kush. To quote Gucci Mane, I might be. Rich Boy Jay, experience-wise, how valuable do you think it was for this team to play in and win a playoff game last season in the long term? I think it was valuable. I mean, I don't think it's like the end-all, be-all. I don't think it guarantees that the best is ahead. I think that, I mean, had they not gotten in the playoffs, I still think that the hope could be on the same level. I don't necessarily think that disappears, but, I mean, they were fortunate to have the Jags wet the bed against the Titans, and then instead of going to Buffalo and being at the mercy of weather, they got to host Cleveland. So yeah, I think it's valuable. I don't know whether they'd be any less or more ready based on it, especially with how much of an assing that was, and when it was beat down. Y'all bringing up John McClain with the covered AC. Is it better than Subway? Come on, man. Don't ask silly questions. If you go to New York Sub, get the pizza sub, though. Get the pizza sub. 100%. And if you get a regular sub, you got to get extra pink sauce. It's expensive, though. Very expensive. Wait. So here's me. Like, get the sub, and there's a 7-Eleven like 20 feet away. Go to 7-Eleven and get the chips and drink. Probably save you about $5-6. More drink options, too. Any chance Bobby would stay in the H like Ben Johnson in Detroit? I don't know. D'Amico Ryan said he needs to be selective. Maybe he will be, maybe he won't. Don't know. There's only 32 of these gigs. Remember David Culley when he got hired? I took this job because there's only one of 32. I don't know if Bobby thinks that way or not. The reality is sometimes you anticipate the guy's going to leave and then the jobs just fill very quickly. We'll have to see what happens with that. He damn sure sounds like a head coach. No news on Simmons, just a bunch of rumors, bunch of chatter. I thought it was weird that the reporters even like came out and said anything about rumors and stuff. Like, get off the internet. Just do your reporting. You're fine. You don't have to sit there and like say like anything that goes on the internet isn't true. Like, I didn't understand that. I don't think that happens in many cities. It happens here. It's just kind of weird. Don't really understand it. I do see Bobby staying to get the right job instead of just going for the first gig. Possibly, potentially. 156 in the chat at 11 p.m. You bet your ass there is. Y'all be sure and like, though. We got the likes for sure. I hope the Colts don't get him. Why would they? They got a damn good OC/coach in Shane Steichen. That's one of the best in the league. Colts ain't getting no Bobby Stark. Oh, you're talking about Simmons. Okay. My bad. That's on me, sir. That's on me. Bad job by me. These nuts. Sorry. Let's hear from Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce was on Texans All Access. Always like hearing his country ass speak. Here was Dameon Pierce talking about preparing for Pittsburgh and how he's feeling. He's with the great John Harris.
Oh, man, I think I'm speaking on behalf of everybody, man. We're ready to, get out on the field and just go live, just have some live reps. Like Coach Miko said, man, it's kind of hard to prepare for the season if you haven't got, real-life football, real-life speed, game reps, and just seeing how that timing looks in real time and seeing how those cuts look, how those run lanes feel, how pass blocking feel. I think it's a good opportunity for everybody to get those live reps and prepare for September.
What about the physicality? John Harris asked him this.
How's the body feel? You're not getting tackled and taking the ground, but you are taking shots. You're doing blitz pickup.
Who ain't getting tackled? We tackling out here. We tackle every day. I go to the grind every day.
So how does body feel once you getting tackled?
My body's fine, man.
Who ain't getting tackled?
I guess I'm gonna call it brotherly love, man. They showing me some tough love out here, you know, get my body ready for the season. So Friday won't be too much of a shock, I guess. I guess that's the only good thing I get from it. But yeah, man, my body feeling good. Anytime I feel anything little happen, whether it's a bruise, whether I'm sore, you know, I'm on top of it with Ro. With Ro and staff. They do a great job of making sure you know, they're on top of things, and we got a great communication line with those guys. So, you know, the training room is always open. They're always here for us. Same thing with Coach Mike and his staff. You know, we're always taking preventative measures. You know, we're doing stretches. We was in the pool the other day, like the way we work out, like, and they always track our steps. Like, hey, DPU was a little high today. You know, we're gonna look out for you in the lift, or you know, we're not doing these jumps X, Y, Z. You know, they always cater us, and that's one thing I can appreciate from the strength staff and the ATR guys. You know, they take care of us, and they let us just go out and play ball, man. They take all the thinking out of it when it comes to our body, because they 9 times out of 10 they already got something planned for us, and we just follow their rules, and we just come out here and play fast, man.
Yeah, you hear him say, "Who ain't getting tackled?" That reminded me of Welvin the Great back in the day when he's like, "Who ain't got no bitches? Who ain't got no bitches?" Do y'all remember that video? Do y'all even know what I'm talking about half the time? Or y'all just kind of like, whatever you say, Landry? Tell me if y'all know about Welvin the Great. We're in the stream. We're almost 200 deep at this time. What do y'all know about that? See if I can find this. No. I didn't know this is the direction we're going. Let's see what we got. I gotta see this now, man. All right, here you go. And he's dropping bombs. We can't say that. But yeah, Welvin the Great. I think most of y'all know about that. Just go type in Welvin, who ain't got no bitches. Everybody knows about that. For sure. Proverbs 27:17 fitting for this team. There you go, man. A lot of guys that are into that. Yeah, references that go over the head. I know. Trust me, I know. Yeah, someone put it in a song. I know Kevin Hart did it on stage. Jeremiah, okay. Yeah, he's the same guy. He's the same D's Nuts guy. Yeah, same guy.
These nuts.
Yeah, that's him. That's Welvin the Great. So there you go. Just a little something for y'all. Learn something new every day. Got him. See, y'all know. You know more about street culture than pretty much all the other Houston media types come out. Yeah, duh. That's not even close. That's not really saying much though. You know, just kind of peeks its way to the burbs a little bit. But yeah, I would say that's accurate. For sure. I'm looking forward to this though, guys. I'm looking forward to this. I want to localize something before I get out of here. I like to localize national stories. I think you're doing a disservice if you're someone who covers Houston sports and you're just sitting there breaking down national stories. Like you don't come to me to hear me talk about national stories. And I see a lot of like radio hosts doing it. And I'm like, man, y'all don't even get it. Like they could just pot up the network and we could get that crap from like Damon Amendola or something like that. JR Sport Brief. Shout out to JR. It's on his show the other day. But you got to localize it. You got to connect it. So I am localizing the Brandon Aiyuk news because I think it's inevitable for the Texans that eventually more money, more problems, more talent, more potential drama. Eventually, if this thing continues to go in the direction that we hope and many believe it's going to be, Eventually, Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans are going to have to deal with some sort of drama. I mean, all these guys that we talk about being under 25 years old, they're going to be wanting contracts. And eventually, you're going to have to make tough decisions. Part of having a good squad is you're going to have to make tough decisions. You're going to have to let good players leave. Happens to all the good teams, all of them. Buffalo just had to give up half their damn roster. The Chiefs had to let Tyreek Hill go in the middle of trying to complete a dynasty. They've been able to overcome it, but they had to do that. Baltimore's had to make some tough decisions. Eventually, we're going to get to a point, hopefully, fingers crossed, where the Texans are going to have to deal with some type of drama. And I'm intrigued to see how they'll deal with it. I'm intrigued to see how they handle this situation. Right now, you can give extensions early while CJ Stroud's on his rookie deal. Once you pay CJ Stroud, you're going to have to make some tough calls. You're going to have to decide between some guys. And I'm really intrigued because we're still just a few years into the Nick Caserio era, and we're not even a year and a half into the D'Amico Ryans era. I wonder how they're going to deal with this. How will they deal with holdouts? How will they deal with guys wanting more money? How will they deal with it? I think it's going to be I think it's going to be interesting to see. Eventually there's going to be a situation where they're going to have to play hardball with somebody. And that's what San Francisco's doing. And now these odds are just getting a little bit crazy. I think the last I saw, Cleveland was the favorite to get Aiyuk. The Patriots are actually the favorite to get Aiyuk right now, at least on the BetUS odds. The Browns are plus 175, so about 2-1. 49ers team next year, 5-1. I feel like that's worth it, right? Like maybe cooler heads prevail. Steelers, which is where they say he might want to go, 6-1. Commanders, 12-1. None of those outside of maybe Cleveland, although we don't know what Deshaun is as we continue to localize it. Patriots, he goes there. That's cute. Who cares? Browns, okay, is he replacing Amari Cooper? So are they just switching those guys, or are they somehow going to keep Cooper too? I don't see that happening. Steelers, okay, that's cool. I mean, you got Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. I guess that could be somewhat of a threat because they always seem to be in the they always seem to be just scrappy as hell, no matter what. But we'll see what happens with Deshaun. Deshaun's an interesting wild card. Cleveland, I don't think their team is too bad. Last year they were stacked and they had a few injuries. So we'll see. But I'm not excited. I'm interested in how the Texans will handle that type of an inevitable situation that comes with building a good roster, more success, and heftier contracts due to the core of your squad and some of the important pieces. So you see it in San Francisco. You'll probably see it with Caserio and company. So we'll see. Do we pay Stingley next year? I think that's I don't know how you handle that. I'm going to ask you, how would you handle this, Will? Because we've got a decent sample size of Derek Stingley the last 4 seasons. Yeah, 4 of a guy who hasn't really been able to stay on the field. So let's pretend that Derek Stingley, let's pretend he has an awesome year and he's healthy for the strong majority of it. And if he is, it's reasonable to think that he's going to be one of the best cornerbacks in the league because he's that effing good. Does 1 year of health wipe away the large sample size of what we've seen from Derek Stingley? I'm asking this from like the Caserio point of view. And again, you would be giving him an extension a year early. Do you do that? I don't know if that's smart. Especially when you have to make tougher decisions and you're creeping closer and closer to having to pay these guys. The other thing is, what if Derek Stingley misses a few games? Let's say he misses less than a handful of games and he's relatively healthy. Do you get Derek Stingley at a bargain, or does Derek Stingley still try to be one of the highest paid corners in the NFL? If he continues to play the way he has played when he's been on the field. I mean, that's going to be an interesting discussion. That's going to be one of the most interesting of all. Because I think it's a no-brainer. Obviously, in a couple of years, CJ Stroud's going to get his contract. We know that. Seems kind of inevitable. Will Anderson, maybe they make it go 4 years. Who knows? But I think he's going to be here for the long run, the long haul. The Stingley thing, I don't know how you handle that. And that one's closer than the others. So I would think that they would let it play out no matter what. But I don't know. Rose says if he's healthy, you pay him. Okay, so the 1 year just overrides everything that we've seen. Seems tough, man. He's a badass. Maybe you get him for a bargain. Maybe he gets hurt for a month. I'm with you. Maybe he gets hurt. And then you figure that out. No more Tunsil contracts. Man, I am so exhausted with Laramie Tunsil commenting on every O-line contract. It's exhausting. He's good. He's really, really good. But, man, I mean, geez. You're the two-time highest paid offensive lineman of all time. Let's just get you on the field, my friend. Yeah, he's going to get a respectable bag. It's a matter of when. Like, is he going to get it a year early? He's getting paid no matter what. No matter what happens. Any scenario, Derek Stingley is too talented to pass up. Health didn't stop him from paying Howard. Yeah, that was never. I never really understood what the hurry was with that extension. I didn't get it. I didn't really get that one. I don't think that's something to point to and say, well, they did that, so they're going to do this. I think that would be kind of a dangerous mindset to think about. You don't got a franchise Stingley. You got 2 years. Like he's going to be in his third and then fourth. Like fourth is when the deal goes up, and I'm sure they'll pick up the option. So, yeah, we don't even need to worry about a franchise tag. Not even close to that. This O-line will reach its potential when Tunsil and Tytus leave. My goodness. What is the potential without those guys? I mean, I don't want to get rid of those guys anytime soon. I'm enjoying them right now. I would like to see Fisher develop. I would like to see them find another young option. But I don't know, like, what is the potential without those two? I don't know. I do kind of – I find it a little bit interesting. And I'm going to talk to someone tomorrow. It'll drop on Thursday. We always argue about Tytus Howard, kind of. I always hear people say, well, he's a really good right tackle. Is he? I mean, he's a better right tackle than he is a guard. I mean, he's not bad. I'm not sitting here saying he's bad. He's had some good games. Hell, he's had some good games at guard. They put him nose to nose against Chris Jones a couple years ago, and he kind of did a good job. But he's a really, really good right tackle. Is he? I mean, he's good, but I mean, he's okay. Top 5? All right. I think we're done with dumb contracts. Once CJ gets paid, going to have to take pay cuts to play with him. I don't know about pay cuts. I don't know. What dumb contract have the Texans and Caserio given? Are we saying the Howard? Is that where we're at? Howard's, yeah. Be careful with the PFF grades. Be careful with these 291. Howard's best PFF grade was 68.2. Not a huge advanced stats guy, but man, that's alarming to see when you have him almost 60 mil. LMA. You know the thing that I hate about PFF, and I like PFF as a resource. And I think the more that you look at it, the more you can kind of see the flaws in it and how you look at it. And I think it's useful. I don't think these guys are just making it up. Like a lot of the people that criticize PFF, you're not putting in an ounce of the efforts that they do into it. Now, some of the variables are ridiculous. I think some of the cornerback stuff is weird. The offensive line stuff can be kind of weird at times. But the thing that I think is funny about some of the linemen that have played for the Texans recently is Whenever PFF ranks them like the best tackle, they'll retweet it. But whenever PFF says that they played bad, they'll crap on PFF. I don't like, which is it? I think it's a good resource. It's like Madden ratings. I was talking to someone the other day about Madden ratings. Someone commented on the video, "Oh, it's amazing that people put so much value in what a player is based on the Madden ratings." Dude, it's not that serious. It's fun to talk about. It's interesting. It's one of the most influential pop culture things ever. It's made football more popular. The players care about him. Y'all saw CJ Stroud last year. He was pissed about his Madden rating. ESPN had a whole special for it. A lot of times it becomes fluid. It changes. It's just a fun thing to talk about. It's not that serious. Like, no one looks at the Madden ratings and says, "Damn, CJ Stroud's 15th. He sucks. Man, Kirk Cousins is better than CJ Stroud." It's not that serious. But I think PFF is a good resource. You just got to take it for what it is. It's like anything else. Just take it for what it is, and you'll be able to appreciate it. But yeah, I don't like really get someone who's like an absolute, "Oh, these Madden ratings don't mean anything." Yeah, thanks, dude. Got to see them on the field first. Yep, gotcha. Thanks, brother. Yeah, PFF's definitely more educated than Madden, Jacob. I agree with you on that. But they're putting work in. They're doing something. I mean, it's impossible to get everything. Here's my thing, though. And this is like from someone like I watch every snap of one team, and that's the Texans. I watch every single play. I watch every single player. I know every single situation. So if Laramie Tunsil's out there and Laramie Tunsil's having a bad game and he's not playing well, maybe there's something wrong with his knee. PFF's not taking that into account. But we know that, right? If, I don't know, CJ Stroud's out there and 3 of his offensive linemen are out and he has a wide receiver out and he goes out there and plays and they give him that, the variables. Like there's one team that I watch every snap of, and that's the Texans. PFF, as much as you watch tape, you don't know the variables. I mean, I'm sure you try as much as you can, but you can't possibly know all the variables. It's not possible. So it's impossible to be fully accurate. But I like it. I think it's a good resource. I think it's fun. I think it's convenient to mention every once in a while. And sometimes it'll be like, okay, yeah, well, I knew that. Remember Nick Martin, Bill O'Brien's guy, who Bill O'Brien praised because he jacked some equipment during 2020 during the Rona and put it in his garage, and he was like, "Well, Nick Martin at a garage gym, he took the blocking sled." Man, get your own blocking sled, first of all, weirdo. But he was praising him. Remember when Nick Martin was the 5th rated center in the AFC South? 5th. There's 4 teams. I watched his ass play. I felt like that was accurate. I actually thought that might have been kind of generous. PFF kind of backed what you saw. Mr. High, what it do? How you doing, my friend? Space, see y'all in New Orleans if we get Simmons. Okay, talking Super Bowl. Nick Martin, God, B.O.B. loved him. Man, he loved him. Jeez. I've never seen anything like that. And then I remember Nick Martin talking about doing the blocking sled in his front yard, and someone would come up to him, "Hey, you play football?" "Yeah, I play ball for the Texans." Man. And the sad thing is his brother's so damn good. Thought Nick Martin was going to be a stud. PFF hosts are painful to listen to. I don't even know what their show is. Are you talking about the dude with the long black hair? Steve, is his name Steve? He's always been cool. I mean, he's just he's very defensive about it. Steve Palazzolo. Is that his name? Steve Palazzolo, PFF. Yeah, I mean, he's a film guy. Kind of one of those nerdy dudes. He puts in some work though. I know Mike Meltzer used to love listening to him. Good God. Mike Meltzer, man. You get Mike Meltzer. I remember when I first moved up here, Mike Meltzer does Mad Dog Radio. He'll hop on this stream every once in a while. We're actually going to have Mondays with Melts. I'm just throwing all the content y'all's way. So Mike Meltzer is going to be here on Mondays, Reaction Monday. So we'll be kicking it with Mike throughout the year. You get Greg Cosell on the phone with Mike Meltzer. Good God, almost got to leave the room. Almost got to put a tie on the door so he can listen to Greg Cosell break down the completion percentage of Tom Savage to his left. Ridiculous. For sure. Gotta respect the 10:30 every night. Get the likes up, 150 mofos. Why can't we cut the RB3 Dare? Appreciate you for joining the night stream. It's one of the fun things. It's streaming. Streaming is a different thing than broadcasting. That's why I enjoy it. It's a little bit different, and especially at night, because who knows what I'll be under the influence of or what I'll be up to. And it's a good way to it's a good way to look back and then look ahead. I got my daughter and wife next to her. I'm just kidding, kind of. They know. So good dad, though, promise. And husband. But Dare Goombawale, they love him, man. They love him. I know. It's hard for me too. I mean, this guy's been in the league for over half a decade. And for some reason, and by the way, he's looked pretty good. Like his receiving's good. They gave him that 4th and 1 carry the other day. He's moving the chains. He's on special teams. He's just one of those guys that they like. He's one of those guys that they can't quit. But the idea of Dare Goombawale being one play away from being to the right of CJ Stroud in a game, it's just kind of weird to me. I mean, if he's your 4th running back, okay, but he's borderline 2 or 3. Like, we got to see what Dameon Pierce is capable of and what he can do. In some ways, I almost feel like they trust Dare more than Pierce. And there were times last year where they were lining his ass up in the slot. Remember the Tennessee game? I mean, he was in the freaking slot. That's crazy. Like, you had Dare Goombawale in the slot in a win or go home game. And it's not like you were completely depleted, but you had him in the slot. That's crazy. I mean, you watch all these other teams, like look at the Titans. They got multiple backs doing things. The Colts, multiple backs doing things. The Jags, multiple backs doing things. Like all these teams do. You got Dare Goombawale one play away from being in the damn slot. So crazy to me. Dameon, did someone on the OL get carted off today? Dude, he left in a cart. He didn't get carted off. So he went to the tent, walked out of the tent, hopped in the cart, and got a ride to the locker room. Which I guess if you want to get technical when you say he left in a cart, yes, but it was after he gathered himself and he was fine. So he didn't want to walk. Sometimes CJ Stroud will hop on a cart and go. There's a difference between he got hurt, he hopped on the cart immediately. He walked to the tent. He walked out of the tent. And then afterwards, maybe he had something a little sore, so he didn't want to walk 300 yards or whatever into the locker room. So that's what it was. For sure. Who loved Nick Martin more, Zach Martin or B.O.B.? Not even close. Man, y'all are mean to Tytus Howard. Very mean. Is he a special? Yeah, I guess he's a specialist. Like if you fill in a kicker, you get that. I'll give him that. I do think that, and you saw Frank Ross today. He looked a little bit stressed out. I don't know if this kickoff is going to do what people thought it was going to do, because Hansen, man, like by the time he hit the return man the other day, it didn't even look like he knew where the hell he was, and it didn't even look like he saw him. So I don't know, I don't know if these new kickoff rules help Dare Goombawale. I mean, do you just put a bunch of linebackers out there? You got to put some DBs. Are they going to start putting offensive linemen out there? I don't know. But I don't think, based on what D'Amico said when I asked him the question on, what was it, Friday? Yeah, Friday. I don't think that D'Amico and Frank Ross, I don't think it looked like they anticipated it looking. Does that make sense? They've been practicing it. I don't think it looked like they thought it would look for whatever reason. Tytus Howard's Madden rating is 71. Blake Fisher's is 72. I thought it was surprising too how unplayable Pierce was last year. So yeah, Cam is on the team. Cam Akers. We'll see what happens there. I don't know. I don't know what happens there. No idea. Yeah, it is Cartgate. Kind of seems weird. Kind of seems like a weird thing to be arguing about, doesn't it? Like if he practices tomorrow, then cool. If he doesn't, maybe we got some. I think tomorrow's going to be a pretty light practice though, because they got the game. They got to get on the plane, so it's kind of one of those boring ass practices where you go out there like, oh God, the hell am I doing out here? I always feel bad when they have those light ones when the fans are there. They try to crank it up a notch, so they can't help it sometimes. One time they had a real light ass practice when the fans were there, and I was like, man, bless y'all's heart. Bless y'all's heart. Dare probably created a better mismatch in the slot than who? It created a better mismatch in the slot than who? I just think they're kind of limited there. I don't know about that. Create a better mismatch where? I mean, there's a lot of things he can do. I don't. If you're going to justify Dare Gumbawale being in the slot, okay. I would rather that. I would rather not see that. That's me personally. Nothing personal against Dare, but I would rather not see that. The starters, I think they're going to get a couple series. I don't know that they're going to go the full half, but I don't know. D'Amico said he wanted to see him out there. Maybe a quarter. Depends how they look. But yeah, I think we'll see him out there. I think he's going to deal too. For sure. I think they're going to deal. We're still talking about Dare in the slot. Okay. Is Dare CMC for the Texans now? I appreciate you for coming through though, Alan. I'm just kind of giving you a hard time. For sure. And I look, I respect you for respecting the coaches. I like the coaches too. Maybe if he's a better matchup than Mechie, then man, he might be. I don't know. I'm not going to completely dismiss that. Quite honestly. Don't think I can. So here's the layout for tomorrow. 1 o'clock, 9 o'clock, the Bobby Slowick Podium Critic press reaction. He went hardo. Don't ask him the same question twice. He doesn't really appreciate that. He'll still answer it, but he'll let you know that he already answered it. We'll have the practice update at 1. What went down at practice. We're also going to talk about the most difficult decisions that D'Amico Ryans has to make. And then I'm going to record an interview. We're probably going to play that on Thursday. We're still going to have the night stream at 10:30. There's going to be an off day on Thursday. There's still going to be content going down. That interview that I record, which is going to be awesome. I can promise you. That is going to drop. And then the post game on Friday. And all in between that, the Texans on Thursday will be hopping on a plane. Couple comments before I get the hell out of here. Is Jimmy targeting Diggs? No, I just think Jimmy doesn't know how to play half speed. I don't think it's anything personal. Are the players missing time these past few days and last week concerning? Kind of sad the offense can only manage to have a good day with Anderson, Hunter, and the starters out. Bobby Slowick kind of spoke to it. He said they're kind of trying to make it hard for CJ right now, which I thought was insightful. So he's basically going against the defense and the OCs. They're trying to get him ready for the season. So no concern for me, at least. Can't put my finger on how much can give people the work in practice, but it doesn't translate to the game. I don't think he's given the work as much as people are saying he's given the work. I mean, he'll make a play, and every time he makes a play, it's like AM1. Oh, baby. He's okay. He's doing fine. But I think that when he makes a play, I think it gets romanticized. You basically got Duke Tango in the form of a lot of people just putting stuff, oh, baby, John Mechie. And I also think his teammates like when he makes plays too, because he's such a great dude and they kind of gravitate toward him. I just don't see, I don't think he's putting in that much work at all. Dietology, appreciate you. Stanley looks good. Anyone you would trade for realistic? No, I don't think they need to make any trades. Maybe they make like some low level trades, like at the end of camp. Like I could see Casario looking at some guys and trying to fill some holes. The Simmons thing is the one to watch where they make that, but I appreciate you, Dietology. Diggs is fine. He's good. Go back and look at the beginning. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. Be sure to like when you leave here. Just be sure to like the video. It's a small thing that I ask. Tomorrow, 9:00, Bobby Slowick, Podium Critic review. Can't wait to hear old Bobby. You're going to like it. He went kind of hardo. Sounds like a head coach. Gave some pretty good insight on CJ Tank and others. We're nearly 200 deep. During the season, we'll go longer. I promise you. We can go an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever the hell we got to do. But right now, it's time to get a little bit of rest because I'm going to go Brick Factory because I'm going to be out of town next week. I already got the videos ready to drop Monday, Tuesday. Still going to do the stream. Brick Factory is like before Gucci Mane went to jail and he just put all that music out and he would be dropping an album every week. And that was back when you had to go get CDs and stuff. That's what I do. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. I appreciate y'all very much. Fun times, fun times, fun times. A lot of questions, a lot of optimism. Let's eat.
Stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the